What's up guys, it's Nicole, also known as Nikki Vegan, and today I'm going to be talking about vegan meal prepping, or just healthy eating meal prepping in general. Meal prepping is one of those things that sounds really awesome at first, but then you end up eating the same meal over and over and over for like many days in a row, and it's just very monotonous and not exciting. This is monotonous and not exciting. Trust me, I have been there, so I feel your pain, and this is what I do in my real everyday life that helps me meal prep, but it's more like meal planning or just being prepared and kind of taking the time-consuming things out of it rather than actually saying like on Monday I'm gonna eat this and Tuesday I'm gonna eat that. So with that said, let's get into tip number 1. My first step is to meal prep foods that take a really long time. So this for me is like baked potatoes, it's rice, it's quinoa, all of those things that I know I'm gonna eat on a pretty daily basis, but I don't feel like waiting. The worst is when you come home and you wanna have like a veggie bowl with, rice and vegetables and salad, but the rice is gonna take forever, so you just end up eating like chips and salsa. Pretty much what I do. So in order to combat that, it's just better to have rice pre-made or quinoa or potatoes pre-made. And for me, I don't even do this like one day of the week. I know some people like to meal prep on like a Sunday and they'll spend, a couple hours in the kitchen setting themselves up for the week. And if that works for you, that's awesome. But for me, I'm a little bit more spontaneous. I like to kind of go with what I have on hand and how my schedule is going. So if I'm already making a potato for dinner, I will just make a few extra potatoes and I'll have those for later on in the week. Same thing with rice. I never just make enough rice for 1 or 2 people. I make enough rice for, a couple days, and that way I have it. And that's what works for me, and that's how I can meal prep in a very practical way. The reason I prep these larger items that are versatile and kind of plain is because it really helps me be spontaneous throughout the week. The worst is when you meal prep like one pasta and you break it up into tiny containers and all week long you have to eat the same pasta. By the end of it, you're totally sick of it. So what I like to do is just prep things that are versatile like potatoes. Let's say you have a bunch of sweet potatoes on hand. You can easily just throw them into the blender, add some spices and some veggie broth, then put the mixture into a pan with a little bit of almond milk to make it creamy, and boom, you have a delicious soup. The next day you can roast those potatoes with some spices for just 5 minutes to crisp them up, and you can throw them on a salad and have an awesome kind of hot-cold combo going on. Or you can do my pinwheels, which I love. You can just add the cooked sweet potato to a blender along with a little bit of taco seasoning and a splash of water. Sometimes I do a little bit more salt and pepper, and then I blend it until it's smooth, spread it out over a warm tortilla with some black beans, corn, cilantro, whatever you have. Then I roll it up and serve it with either guacamole or pico de gallo, and it makes such a satisfying lunch or snack that is protein packed and really, really energizing. So this is a really good reason why you should have versatile starches pre-made. I think a lot of times we think with meal prep we have to cook everything all at once and put it in little containers and have it in the fridge so everything's ready to go, and it has to be very homemade. And the thing is, again, my schedule is not conducive to that, and what helps me so much is frozen food, specifically frozen vegetables and frozen fruits. I have so many recipes on this channel, including one of my favorites, which is my vegan mac and cheese. It's an all natural plant-based mac and cheese, but the main ingredient is frozen butternut squash. When you buy it frozen, it is peeled, it is chopped, it is ready to go. I usually just pour it straight from the bag into the blender or straight from the bag into the pot, and the meal prepping is literally already done for me. So that to me is a meal prepping kind of hack. Like, people think everything has to be homemade, and the truth is, if you're really kind of smart about what you like to eat and you know what you like to eat, you can also utilize the freezer. So for me, I like to do potato and veggie bowls, right? So I will meal prep the potatoes, have those on hand, and then my freezer is stocked with frozen broccoli, peas, carrots, like corn all the time. I have corn, butternut squash, all of those things. So I can kind of just, dump a little bit into the pan, steam it up, have it ready to go, and I have a really delicious meal in just a few minutes because I was prepared with my meal prepped potatoes and my frozen veggies. A meal prep don't that I have is do not meal prep berries. Berries are very, very sensitive in the refrigerator. They're just very delicate and sensitive in general. And if you wash them and then put them back in the fridge, I find that they tend to go bad a little bit faster. So what I like to do is I only really buy as many berries as I think I can eat within a few days. What I recommend doing is really, instead of having them pre-washed and cut up into pieces, is to just have them at eyesight. If you have perishable foods in the back of your fridge, you know, hiding behind everything else, you're not going to eat them and they are going to go bad. So instead of meal prepping them, I would just move them to the front of the fridge so that you see them, and when you open the fridge, they catch your eye and you eat them quickly before they can go bad. If you only have a little bit of time each week to meal prep and you've already covered your bases of, you know, potatoes, rice, those types of foods, and you want to do a little bit more, I would recommend focusing on creating different sauces. This way you can really make your basic potato and rice and veggie bowls or salads a lot more interesting so you don't get bored with the food that you've prepped throughout the week. So here I'm making my favorite vegan ranch dressing. For this, you just want a few tablespoons of vegan mayo, or if you want to do it oil-free, you can do hummus, and then a splash of either almond milk or water with a couple of very key spices. So you're going to want some garlic powder, salt and pepper, and then this awesome trifecta of herbs, which is really what makes it taste like ranch dressing, and that is finely chopped parsley, chives, and fresh dill. I just put all of this into a container that has a lid so I can shake it up. It's super simple, and that way I have it for, you know, veggie bowls, for salads, even as a dip for veggies or potato wedges that I made. It's super versatile. Some other things I make in big batches are soups, pastas, and chili. Soup you can have in a number of different ways just by changing the toppings or the condiments you put on top. You could also make it into a pasta sauce sometimes. And chili is great because you can have it as chili, or you can put it on your, you know, potato wedges, or you could have it inside of a baked potato and totally change up the game. You could even make tacos out of it. And with pastas, you can just freeze it in individual portions and it usually holds up really well. So those are things that I recommend making in big batches. Again, I usually just make more when I'm cooking. So if I'm making pasta, I just make extra. If I'm making soup, I make extra. And that's a way that I can really be smart about meal prep and also time management. Another meal prep tip that I have is to entertain yourself while you're meal prepping. So for example, when I work at my job, I like to have a little snack with me. I usually take 3 medjool dates, I pit them and I stuff them with almond butter or peanut butter, and it is like the perfect little, you know, snack where you just pop them in your mouth. They give you tons of energy. They taste like candy, which is an amazing kind of midday or mid-shift pick-me-up that I always look forward to. But I get really bored sitting there like pitting dates and stuffing them with almond butter and doing that every single day. So what I will do is, like, let's say I'm watching a show or something, or if I'm watching a YouTube video on my computer, I will bring the dates and the peanut butter out with me, and I will kind of just pit the whole container and I will stuff them with almond butter and put them into my little snack containers so I have them ready throughout the week, and it feels like no time went by. You don't have to set aside this time to meal prep where it's like you go in the kitchen and you get it done. Like, just live your regular life and then also kind of get these little tasks done. In my family growing up, we used to sometimes do laundry, like fold socks and stuff, while we were watching TV, just because it makes the time go by faster. So I use that same kind of principle when I'm cooking or meal prepping. If you incorporate all of these tips together, you should end up with a situation where you have lots of food on hand that you actually like to eat and you're actually excited about, and you don't have the stress of having to eat it all at once, because if you're utilizing the freezer, you can really diversify the veggie bowls and the, you know, pastas that you make, because you have a large variety of veggies and fruits to choose from in your freezer without having to worry about them going bad. Plus they're already pre-prepped for you, which is a huge time saver. And if you stock up on your favorite sauces and condiments, it'll be a lot easier to eat healthy and to eat the food that you've prepared throughout the week, because you won't get bored eating the exact same flavors over and over and over. So I hope that you guys found this video helpful. I would love to know how you meal prep, what your strategy is, and what your favorite foods to meal prep are. If you're looking for some meal inspiration to kind of shake up what you already do and you've been wanting to try purple carrot for a while, I have a link and a code in the description box under this video, so you can go ahead and try a box. You get $30 off if you use the code, and with that, as long as you order before March 20th, you will also get the 7-day meal plan, which will include some of my recipes, which I'm so excited about and I hope you guys really like. It was really fun to work on. I love purple carrot. You guys have probably seen them in other videos that I've done, and I just think they're an awesome company and I had the best time. So I'd love to know what you think if you try any of the recipes in the meal plan, and I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!